From Tamil Nadu at this point, massive violence breaks out in Tamil Nadu's Kallakuruchi. Stone pelting and violence breaks out in Kallakuruchi. The violence stirred over students' alleged death by suicide. Girl dies by suicide, alleging torture by teacher. Chief Minister Salem condemns the violence, promises action. Over 500 people protesting, demanding justice for the deceased girls, have indulged in ransacking a school campus, blocking roads and pelting stones. Even police who were trying to control the crowd have been injured in this particular incident. Srimati, a class 12 student, allegedly died by suicide by jumping off the hostel building in her school after she was allegedly tortured by her teacher. The girl's death note is in police custody, allegedly named 2 teachers. The girl's parents have refused to take the body, demanded action against the school management and the teachers. They've also asked for a re-post-mortem at this point of time. And since it's a story about alleged death by suicide, just want to tell the viewers that suicide help is always available, and I'm requesting our producers to please flash suicide helpline numbers on our screens right now. The story coming in is from Tamil Nadu, and it's violence that has broken out. Stone pelting violence breaks out in Kallakuruchi on the back of this particular incident. We'll get you some reactions as well, but it's a very sensitive story because it's an alleged death by suicide, and I'm requesting the producers to also flash some suicide prevention numbers since we're reporting a story on death by suicide. Stone pelting and massive violence has broken out in Kallakuruchi on the back of this incident. Akshay is now joining us. Akshay, very, very grim news coming in, and just want to understand this unrest that is going on and the violence that is broken out in Kallakuruchi. Over to you.
Well, Chetty, what we've seen in the state of Tamil Nadu's Kallakuruchi is that over the last few days, the family of a girl named Srimati, who was a class 12 student, has allegedly died by suicide. And following that, the family has said that they feel that there's a lot of discrepancy as far as death is concerned. And also, police were able to find a letter from the girl's hostel room, and that letter has also been taken into consideration and is under investigation, is what the police officials said. But the family alleges that there are a lot of lapses from the school's end, and also in the letter it is alleged that 2 teachers were named, and they have been demanding that action be taken against those teachers also. And the family has also approached the Madras High Court requesting for a re-post-mortem of the girl's body. And the body is still kept at the Kallakuruchi Government Hospital and has not been taken by the family. And the family, along with the relatives, have continued the sit-in protest, which the officials in the district were trying to sort out. But today morning, what we've seen is that the incident turned completely violent, with many protesters there ransacking the building of the school as well as the property, like the buses which were there in the campus, and that became a huge violent incident there. And it is said that police officials, around 300 of them, were put on duty, and the DGP now says that the number of people who are being put there has increased, and the situation has been brought under control, is what the police sources are telling us. But initially, in the early morning hours, what we had seen was a huge repercussion, people demanding that justice be brought for Srimati, and also find out what went wrong and what pushed the girl to the extent of jumping off the hospital building. So the investigation is on right now. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has also tweeted out saying that the Home Secretary and the DGP have been asked to go to the location, and also that a case has been filed, and to trust the government on giving a proper investigation. And he's also promised that those involved in the incident will be punished, and have asked the people to remain patient. So, at this point of time, we're seeing that the situation in Kallakuruchi has been brought under control, but still now the family is saying that they want justice, and tomorrow they will be going to the Madras High Court to get a proceeding on going ahead with the re-post-mortem of the girl's body, Jyoti.
Absolutely. Let's refrain from naming the victim at this point of time, because it's a case of alleged death by suicide at this point of time. Is the law and order situation under control in Kallakuruchi as we speak? What does the administration have to say on that front?
We were told by police officials that the situation has been brought under control. DGP of the state, Shailendra's Babu, has spoken to us and he said that, the situation has been brought under control. More number of police officials have been deployed on the ground, and the neighboring district police officials are also keeping a vigil. Apart from that, the Home Secretary as well as the DGP are on their way to the location where this entire protest had broken out. And at this point of time, we're also hearing that the family has said that they do not have any connection with those people who were involved in the violence that took place today morning. So what happened in Kallakuruchi was that a massive protest broke out seeking justice for the girl who had died, and it was seen that many of them turned the protest violent by trying to ransack the building of the school. They had also set fire to multiple school buses which were there in the premises, and after that we've seen that police had to use lathi charge. And immediately soon after, we told that the situation has been brought under control, and talks between the protesters and the police officials have been going on. And it said that the family of the girl demanded that the proceedings which is still awaited in the Madras High Court tomorrow needs to be completed soon, so that as their demand is for a re-postmortem of the body, that can be conducted, and all the doubts that they have in their mind can also be solved. So demanding that a best investigation be put into place and to ensure justice for their daughter who has died.
No, absolutely. It must be a heartbreaking moment to wake up to the death of their daughter, for the parents, for the next of kin as well. And she was a class 12 student, allegedly dying by suicide. And the allegation is torture by teachers. As far as the school administration is concerned, how do they respond to this allegation?
No, Jyoti, we are still yet to get any information from the school side, but we're being told that the school officials were the ones who had informed the family about the death of the child, and there were multiple discrepancies that the family alleges in the way that the death of the girl was communicated to them. Initially, it was told that the girl had injuries and was taken to the hospital, but soon after, apparently, they were informed that the girl was already brought dead to the hospital. So how did that happen is a question that has been raised by the family members. We are yet to hear the version of the school officials, but we are also being told that the police officials are investigating into all possible angles, including those teachers who are named in the alleged death note of the girl are also going to be questioned, and police officials and the government have assured that the best action will be taken, and those alleged to be involved, if proved guilty, they will be punished as per law, is also a word that is being given by the police official as well as the Chief Minister of the state, N.K. Salem. At this given point of time, we know that the girl who committed suicide or who died by suicide was a class 10 student, and it is alleged that she jumped off the hostel building and immediately was rushed to the hospital. But in the hospital, she was told that she died on the way, and apparently her initial postmortem report, which India Today has access to, says that the cause of death could be due to hemorrhage and due to the multiple injuries that the girl had sustained when she had jumped off that building. So that is what the primary preliminary report has stated, but we'll have to wait for the detailed report as well, Chetty, and if the family gets an approval for the re-postmortem, then for that data as well.
Right. Has there been any kind of psychological autopsy ordered by the administration? Because usually a psychological autopsy is possible in cases of death by suicide, and here, especially because she has alleged the torture by her teachers.
Yes, it is right now we're being told that the police officials as well as the district administration will take all the best possible measure to, get as much detail as possible on what really panned out and what really pushed the young girl into taking this extreme measure. The family says that they find there is a lot of discrepancies. So every allegation that the family is going to keep forward, that too shall be taken into consideration, is what officials have been telling us. At this given point of time, one thing is very clear, JP, that the situation in Kallakuruchi was very tense today morning, with multiple people from across the district coming forward to protest for justice for the young girl who had died. And it seems that people are not ready to rest until justice is served. So one thing is very clear is that even the Chief Minister of the state has promised that the best possible investigation will be put forward and all those found guilty will be taken to task. So with that assurance, it's hoped that the kind of violence that broke out earlier today will not continue. Secondly, we're also being told that the police officials have increased the deployment there, which also means that the situation will only become tighter, and police officials are ensuring that no untoward incident breaks out in the district of Kallakuruchi. And as far as the kind of examinations are concerned, we'll have to wait for the court order to understand what all are the specifics that the court will ask for details and what will be the probe like. But at this given point of time, the family at least has demanded for a re-post-mortem of the girl's body, JP.
Yes, and over 500 people protesting, demanding justice for the deceased girl. Are these students? Are they locals? Who are they?
Well, that is something that is not really clear at this given point of time, because the family has denied any kind of affiliation with those protesters who were there in that location and who were indulging in violence. Secondly, the police officials, I think especially the DGP, speaking today, has given a statement stating that those who are involved in the violence do not look like students, and if it were students, they would not have indulged themselves in setting fire to multiple commodities inside the college campus. So that doubt has also been raised. But the DGP, Shailendra Babu, who spoke to us, has stated that there will be a proper investigation, and most of those culprits who have set things on fire, their faces are on record. And as per those details, stringent action will be taken, and all those people involved in the violence will be nabbed, is the assurance which is being given by the state's DGP, Shailendra Babu. And as per that details, we've also seen that M.K. Salem, the Chief Minister, has asked the Home Secretary and the DGP to rush to the spot and ensure that law and order situation is maintained and no untoward incident happen again in the district. So, we've seen that from the neighboring districts also, number of police officials have been sent in. We've been told that 500 extra police strength is being rushed to the spot. Already there were around 300 police on the spot when the violence occurred. So it means that a huge police presence will be there in Kallakuruchi today and for the next few days to ensure that there is no untoward incidents in the district, Katie.
And the girl has had, before her death, mentioned alleged, rather, torture by her teachers. What is the exact allegation? Do we have that information with us, Akshaya?
Well, Chiti, all these details have not been divulged. One, because the investigation is ongoing, and the letter of the girl is one of the main points that the police officials have as far as evidence is concerned. So those details are still not divulged to the media or outside. But we know that the girl apparently or allegedly has named two school teachers and has alleged that two teachers were involved in torturing her, which has also led to pressure on her, and that was the reason why she taken the extreme measure. Is the preliminary investigation details that we've got to understand, but we have to wait and watch for more of those details, Cheti, because the investigation is ongoing. Police officials are not ready to divulge too much of information, and that would also mislead the investigation. Is one of the reasons why they're keeping all the information, not released much. But at this given point of time, we're being told that no angle will be left without investigation. They're taking all possible angles to ensure that, proper justice is served for the deceased. And also, as for the demands of the family and the doubts being raised by the family will also be taken into consideration and investigated, is what officials are telling us to do.
Has the family lodged an FIR in this particular case?
Sorry, Chiti, can you come again?
I'm saying the family of the victim, have they lodged an FIR at this point of time?
Well, they have been appealing to the police officials for, further investigation. They've also approached Madras High Court, wherein they've said that they feel that there is a suspicion in the manner in which the girl has died. They've demanded for a re-postmortem. These are the details, and this is a kind of approach which has come from the family's end. They've also said that they will not be taking the deceased body till they get justice and till a re-postmortem is conducted as per their demand. They will not be taking the girl's body is what they clearly stated. So they are trying to take the legal course to get justice, and for that they've approached the Madras High Court also, Katie. The case will be heard tomorrow, and after that more details regarding the next process will also be out.
And in this particular school where this has happened, has there been a trend, Akshaya, of any kind of torture or any kind of bullying by the teachers, or has this been a one-off incident, Akshaya?
Well, Chiti, as far as this case is reported, the particular school, there hasn't been any information regarding any previous incidences till now. The investigation by the police officials will be able to throw light on whether similar incidences of pressure or peer pressure has already happened or not. But at this given point of time, this seems like a one-off incident, and only the investigation by the police officials will throw light on what really panned out and if this has happened prior also with any other student. But at this given point of time, we know that the class 12 girl jumped off the hostel building and was rushed to the hospital where she was brought dead as per the hospital's initial reports. And we're being told by the family that the girl might not have resorted to such extreme measure, and they feel there is something wrong about the way in which the girl has died, for which they have now appealed the Madras High Court. So we need to wait and watch about what really has panned out, and only a proper investigation by the police officials will throw light on what really panned out. But already we are hearing the opposition party alleging that the state government as well as the district education department as well as the police officials have not worked properly. For example, we had Kove Satyan from the AIADMK speaking to India Today a little while earlier, wherein he has alleged that the law and order situation in the state of Tamil Nadu has only been going down and a proper action has still not been taken up, and that is why these kind of incidences are happening. So, you know, it is a very tragic scenario which has come out from the district of Kallakuruchi, but it also needs to be remembered, Cheti, that in most organizations, in most schools, there are support systems, there are, people, counseling officers who are employed, and in case of any pressure or any kind of incident like one mentioned by this girl of torture, there are services provided by the school for children to go and speak to these counseling officers. Rather than taking these kind of extreme measures, counseling or approaching for help is what is in dire need of the hour, is what most of the activists in the state are also saying. And the kind of system of education that is currently there in the country is also something that puts pressure on students, is another accusation that is being put forward by many activists and educationists in the state, Katie.
No, it's interesting to note that, there have been incidents like this that have taken place before, but the kind of outrage that we're seeing right here with 500 people taking to the streets in complete act of vandalism right there in Salem in Tamil Nadu, that's a surprising part, and hence that begs the question, are these the students? Who are the people who are protesting in this particular fashion?
Actually, that's exactly the question which is being raised by the police officials also. And DGP Shailendra Babu has already given a statement saying that it is very unlikely that students were involved in the protest. And the police officials are trying to trace out all those people who were indulging in that violence. All of the people who have indulged in the violence have been recorded on camera, and with the help of which police officials will be taking them to task is what we're being told. They will be brought before law is another assurance given by DGP Shailendra Babu. And at the same time, Chepi, another factor that we need to remember is that the family of the deceased have also denied any kind of knowledge on who these people were. So the big question arises if there were antisocial elements who were involved in this protest, because initially, though the protest, though the family had sought permission and police had given, sufficient bandobast, it was seen that the number of people who actually assembled there went out of control, and many of them resorted to violence as well. So there's a big question if there were antisocial elements involved in that protest also, but once again, all those details will come to light only and only after a proper investigation. Police officials have assured that they will be taking every measure needed, including usage of visuals and videos that have been shot during the violence to identify those miscreants who were involved in that violence, and also a proper investigation will be conducted, and all those people who were involved in the violence will be booked, is what the police officials also stated, JP.
Right, that's the big breaking news coming in. Massive violence breaks out in Tamil Nadu's Kallakuruchi. Stone pelting and violence has broken out in Kallakuruchi. Violence stirred over students' alleged death by suicide. The girl has died by suicide, alleging torture by the teacher. And I just want to say that there is ample help available. We'll patch those suicide helpline numbers as well and show you how help is available in case you're feeling a little over the edge. I'm requesting the producers to put those numbers out as well. At the moment, the Chief Minister, Salem, has condemned the violence, promised action against this as well. Over 500 people are protesting, demanding justice for the victim. Even police were trying to control the crowd, have been injured in this particular incident. School buses have been set on fire. Stone pelting, violence, arson, damage to public property, and all of that happening on the back of the girl dying by suicide. We're getting Dr. Sameer Parekh to join us in just about a bit for a quick reaction on all right, Dr. Sameer Parekh now joins us for a quick reaction on this. Dr. Parekh, very grim news coming in, a girl dying by suicide, alleging torture by the teacher. I just want to ask you one question, which is on, there would be many students, right now all of these are allegations, and there would be many students who would be facing some sort of harassment in their schools or their workplaces or wherever. What should one do when they're feeling a certain manner, because suicide surely is just not the answer?
I think it's a very important question you've asked, because the answer is very clear. You talk to someone, immediately tell your family, parents, reach authority, take someone's help. Even if you feel that you're being harassed by someone whom you think may be high up in the ladder, there will always be someone above that person as well. So first, talk to your family, talk to your friends, talk to whoever you think you trust, but make sure you reach authority and ensure that an intervention is done so that whoever is the perpetrator, where you feel you're being harassed, that is addressed, and prioritize your well-being.
Dr. Parekh, also a larger question comes up over the institutions, schools, colleges, in making sure that they have counselors on board so that students can go ahead and speak and get the required kind of help so that they are not pushed over the edge. This again really puts focus back on what you've been speaking all throughout about how the focus needs to be on a systematic way of counseling through schools and institutions. Dr. Parekh.
Absolutely. Schools and colleges having mental health curriculums, having in-house counselors, ensuring that students have awareness about access to helplines, and ensuring that students have the confidence that if they are struggling for whatever reason, there is help that is going to be available, and we are all completely have students' well-being in the focus. And an individual aberration, individuals who cross a limit, do not mean that the system is against the student. And this is something that is up to all of us as adults to make sure that children are feel safe in school and college environment. This is their safest place where they grow up, become the adults of the future, and we need to ensure this is a safe place and their mental health and well-being is well taken care of.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Parekh, for your quick inputs right there. As Dr. Parekh said, enough help is available in case anyone is feeling a certain way. Suicide is definitely not the answer. There is enough help available. Unfortunate incident that we're reporting. On the back of this, there's a lot of violence that has taken place as well, but Chief Minister Salem has ordered for strict action, and there will be further probe that will be conducted.